Welcome back to another episode of Giggles and Glutes, your weekly chat about fitness, fun, and everything in between. Today, we're going to be talking about calories versus macros, what you should track first.
This is a goodie.
Yeah, because have you ever sat with your food tracker open? I think we actually spoke about this, like just being too lazy to actually track and trying to figure out if you should just count calories instead or if you need to be out here balancing macros like a scientist. Well, if you are anything like that, then we know how you feel. We've been there and we've chosen not to go down that route. So let's roll the intro because we've got so much to say about this topic today. All right. All right, let's break this down. We're breaking down what they actually are, which ones matters more. The light's like shining in my face. I'm feeling like an angel. Depending on your goals, and how to keep it simple without losing your mind and feeling like, oh, you have to get to your pen or your paper and write something down as fast as possible. And whether you're just starting with your fitness journey or you've been tracking everything except for your patience, we've got some clarity coming your way and a few laughs as always. And hey, if you love content like this that makes nutrition easy to understand and digest, then hit that follow button or subscribe now so you don't miss the rest of the series and our other episodes. So let's zoom in on this part. What are calories versus macros? And before we dive into that debate, let's clear up what we're actually talking about, because calories and macros gets tossed around like they're the same thing, but they are definitely not. For short, or to break it down, calories are like the energy basically, and if you had to think of a pyramid and what would be at the top of the pyramid, it would then be calories. Then underneath calories are your macros, and that is where we get this energy from in the top of the pyramid, and that is from the proteins, the fats, the carbs, the fibers, everything that we consume basically. And you can hit your calorie goals by eating junk food as well, but your body composition is definitely going to tell a whole different story. We know we have these things where we would say someone is skinny fat, and that just means that even though they have a lean physique, they probably are not as toned as what they should be or have enough muscle mass because of diet. This is the bit most people overlook. Donaé, when did you first learn the difference between calories and macros? Probably when we were studying.
Yeah,
And did it make sense right away, or you just like, what is this madness?
it definitely did not make sense first thing. I think it was extremely overwhelming to digest all this information because I'm just like, at the time, food is food, I just eat whatever, eat on demand. But it was definitely when we were studying when I first got introduced to all of this, which is like almost 10 years ago. Wild.
Crazy. So let's discuss this. What happens when you only track calories? So now we know what calories and macros are. Let's talk about what actually happens when you only focus on calories, because a lot of people start there. A lot of people decide, oh, I can only eat 1,600 calories. I must check how much calories everything that I'm consuming has. And you may lose weight, but you also risk losing muscle mass if you're only tracking calories. So once again, everything comes down to your goal and which is a better metric for you to track. Cravings, energy dips, and mood swings can also be impacted if you're only tracking your calories. I'm stuttering so much today. and misleading success because of body composition. Because let's say you're only tracking your calories and you start losing weight, but in that weight loss journey or in that weight loss process, you're losing muscle mass as well, because you're making sure that you are eating in a calorie deficit. But ideally, you don't want to be losing muscle mass because your goal was to tone. And toning means that you want more muscle definition. So by just tracking calories in that sense, it's going to be in contradiction to your goal. And that could lead to sadness or feeling like you just haven't achieved your goal. But in the matter of fact, the metric or the tool that you are using to track, it's not suitable for your goal. Have you ever been in a phase where you were just tracking calories? I don't think so, hey?
I did actually, like, once upon a time. I think it was the app Macros was just released.
Oh, use that app,
with
you
me
know.
too, sometimes, not so much anymore. But I was in conversation with somebody and they were telling me about this app and whatever, and I was like, oh cool, I'm gonna download it. And I remember doing this and feeling like, what on earth? Like, I'm gonna go to Clicks, I'm gonna buy a kitchen scale, I have to weigh everything. And it was just like such a mission to do all of this. I hated it so much. I think I lasted maybe 2 weeks or something, and then I was like, okay, screw it. I'm just not going to do this anymore. Because the only thing that I kept on reminding myself is that we are what we eat. And because I was active my whole life and very aware of what I ate for always, it wasn't something that I thought needed to change or add into. Yeah, it's just overwhelming.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. Sometimes it just feels like it's too much and you just actually lose track of where you want to be, and also about having some clarity up in your mind. But the next one is a game changer. It's why and when macros matter more. Macros matter more. Macros matter more. Macros. Sorry.
That's a good
Juice of thoughts.
Good riddle. Yes,
Juice of thoughts gone. Right. And this is where macros come in like the unsung hero. It's not just about how much you eat, but what the food is made of, the composition. Like we spoke about last week, what's on your plate. Your protein's going to help with fat loss, muscle gain, recovery, your carbs and your fat. Balance is always key. And macros help shape the body, not just shrink it. Macros is like the fine tuning of getting to your goal. It's the things that you want to change, not just the big picture of saying, I want to eat less, I want to consume less calories. Macros is how you are going to get to your goal. Donaé, what is the biggest change you noticed? I'm sure you've noticed this because you've made some big changes since moving. Actually, that year before moving to Abu Dhabi and then living there now and having to prepare all your food for yourself all the time. What are the big changes that you have made, and how have you started paying attention to tracking macros more closely?
This was honestly the biggest adjustment of my life because, firstly, I don't have Woolies. Woolies was my saving grace because I never used to meal prep or anything like this, but because Woolies has so much convenience to their food, I didn't need to prep. They kind of did the prep for me because I just pop everything to the microwave. So moving here, I've had to find alternatives to sort of create that. That's very difficult, I'm not going to lie. I'm still struggling with it to this day. I've been trying to recreate the meals that I used to have and kind of just adjust, but keeping in mind my goal, what I am eating for, and the plate that we discussed in the previous episode, making sure that I just have all of those things on my plate. Yeah, that's basically it.
You know, hey, with regards to Woolies, people don't understand. Not just Woolies, actually, Pick n Pay, Checkers, all of our supermarkets in South Africa are on the top end. I like proper. If I go to the grocery store and I want butternut, I love butternut, squash, gem squash, all of those, like the pumpkins type categories. But in Germany, if you want to have pumpkin, butternut, or whatever, you have to clean that stuff yourself, cut it up yourself. It's such a mission. Every single thing you must still cut yourself.
I'm laughing because every time I buy a whole butternut or a whole pumpkin and I'm there with a
You chuck
knife
it
in the
away.
kitchen, I know before I get into the cutting thing, because breaking it in half is the hardest part, I always feel like I'm busy like doing surgery, or like I'm in the woods, like busy sawing my life away because I hate
I feel
it
like
so
I'm
much.
in the 1800s,
Yes.
honestly. And in South Africa, for us, it's like so normal to just go into Woolies, grab freshly cut veg off the shelf,
Yeah.
start your dinner with it. Now I must still prep my chicken, I must prep my veg. That really, it's been, I hear you and I feel you and I'm with you when you say cooking is a task at the moment. It really doesn't make it enjoyable when you still have to prep every single thing. We even have sliced garlic for us, guys. Do you know how underrated that is? You go to Woolies or Pick n Pay or wherever, you buy garlic off the shelf already cut and in oil, and you just have to add 1 or 2 teaspoons to your food. I have to do all that manually, so like making a meal takes so much longer than what it usually would. And a lot of times, like obviously not at the moment because I'm trying to get to a goal, but a lot of times that would be the reason why I would just be like, I'm not cooking tonight.
And this is actually something that people overlook. The convenience, the pre-prep is actually also the thing. But also we live in a time where there are companies that can make food for you, which is also something that I have tried out. That's not the best because there's nothing.
I was going to ask you, how was your meal prep going with the company, the way you can order the meals from?
It was great, to be honest. It's super convenient, but after 2-3 weeks of doing it, you miss your own food just because of the taste. And you know, I'm a big foodie and I need, like as everyone, it needs to taste like something.
Yeah, talking about it needs to taste like something. Someone said to me, oh, they're not eating for pleasure, they are eating to fuel their body. And it was such a weird comment because, I don't know, it just speaks to this mindset of this is only about aesthetics. It's not about health, it's not about mental well-being, it's not about physical enjoyment and well-being. And this journey should always be about all of those things, because if you achieve all of those things and still food satisfaction and you're getting to your goals, then why do you only want to eat to fuel your body? It's impractical.
Especially where flavor is concerned, because this is how you develop a hate relationship with food actually. Eating becomes a chore and it doesn't become for your enjoyment. We are in the times now where spices have been around for decades, centuries. Why would you not want to spice up your food, you know, for your enjoyment?
And spices have no extra calories. Spices and herbs, you can add as much as you want. It's gonna give you no extra calories in your food, so don't feel like you have to have bland meals all the time. Quick pause. If you're vibing with this episode and learning something new, then please take a second to like, follow, or leave us a review depending on where you're listening. It really helps us grow the pod and reach more women who just need to hear straight up BS-free fitness talk like this. And that's exactly what Donaé and I want to bring to the fitness industry in the podcasting space, is making sure that the information is easy to digest and that we are educating you guys and giving you all the information that you could possibly need to start your fitness journey or help you along the way. All right. Let's settle this, because we know some of our listeners are thinking, cool, but just tell me what to do. So, key points for beginners. start with calories, because in the beginning, most times your only goal is I want to lose weight. And then if you're finding yourself in the intermediate phase, I would say calories, but focus on protein, focus on consuming a high protein diet. And then for our advanced people, it's full macros. This is your goal-based approach where you wanting to get your body to a certain point. You're now at the stage where you feel like you in a good weight zone, and you now want to tone up and get more definition and start getting some abs or start building your glutes. And that is where we would recommend that you focus on macros. Now, Donaé, if someone's just starting out, what would you tell them to focus on first?
Definitely the calories. Start with calories. Like you said, it's the best way to create a good relationship with food. It's also the best way for you to understand how many calories what has, and then kind of put your meals together from there. I think a lot of people overwhelm themselves with doing the macros and doing all of the fluff, but getting down to the basics and just the calories and understanding how much your body needs or what you want your goal to be is the best way to start, really. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I was just thinking now, I would also suggest start by weighing yourself and against your weight and your height. And even if you're not going to use the calorie counter to track your calories or to track your, use it to find out what your BMI is, to find out what your maintenance calories are, what your calorie deficit would or should be if you wanted to lose weight, etc., so that you have an idea of where you are, of what your body needs. And the nice thing about the calorie counting app is that it will also break down for you how much protein, how much fats, and how much carbs you should be consuming in your day and within your diet. So I know we started the episode by talking about not tracking calories or calories not being so important, but if you are in the beginning part of your journey, get the calorie tracking app. We know it's a hassle. You don't have to do it every single day. Do it whenever you remember or whenever you have time to fill it out. But the nice part about it is that in the beginning, you understand, oh, my maintenance calories are 2,000, but if you want to obviously lose weight, then you know you need to be in a calorie deficit between 200 and 400 calories. Some people even go up to doing 200 and 600. That's dependent on them or how fast they want to see results. But it's nice to know where you are starting. You can't make a plan if you have no direction of where you are at currently. So get as much information about yourself as well, so that you can plan appropriately and choose and know if choosing calories as a tracking option or macros as a tracking option is going to be better for you.
It's like saying, I'm going to get in the car, I'm going to the 12 Apostles in Cape Town. I'm in PE. That's where I'm going, but I don't have a map. I don't know which direction I'm supposed to go in. I'm just getting in the car and I'm drive because I know I need to be in Cape Town, but I don't know where in Cape Town I need to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, you need a plan and to know what your starting point
Definitely.
is. Yeah.
We all know that tracking can feel overwhelming, like I just said, especially if you got a busy life, if you're not a numbers person, if you don't want to live in your food diary forever. Some quick tips would be to use repeat meals and pre-log days to track your protein, to be consistent, and remember that perfection is just a farce. And portion visuals help, like we spoke about last week with the palm. Think, is my protein as big as my palm? Are my carbs as big as my fist? Is my fats as big as my thumb? Those tips make it easier for you to remember, for you to try and stay mindful of where you are at in your day or just throughout your tracking journey. Do you remember the first time you tried tracking? Was it helpful or was it just chaotic? Or do you have any tracking hacks or habits that actually work for you now?
It was chaotic and it was helpful at the same time because it made me mindful of portion size. It made me aware of portion size actually. I don't track calories anymore at all unless I'm doing a reel and people need to know how much is in here. But it just helped me, and I still have that engraved in my brain actually of my portion size and my control. And this works for me. I eat on demand. My body clock is kind of set where I'm hungry the same times during the day because I've sort of trained it that way without even knowing. So I eat on demand. I also don't overeat. When I'm full, I am full. But even if I get to that point where I actually can't eat anything else on my plate anymore, but I'm gonna finish my protein. I'm not wasting the protein. I always try to get the protein in first. And also another hack that I have is I don't know, some people prefer to eat separately, like they eat their fruit last and then their carb and then their protein. I try to cut a piece of the chicken or meat with a piece of the carb with the green, then put it on the fork and then eat it at once. That's how I eat to sort of get the round of the plate done at the same time. And another thing I do is I don't drink while I'm eating my water or whatever. I eat first, finish my food, and then I have my cool drink, my water.
That's such a South African thing. That is such a South African thing. You know why?
Why?
Because as a child, you were not allowed to drink while you were eating. As a child, your parents would be like, no liquids. First finish your food. You're going to fill your tummy with liquids. And now I see Ella Sophia eating, drinking, eating, drinking. And then I'm thinking to myself, oh, that is me. I would have been told, no, eat your food first. Eat your food first. But you can definitely have some water with your food.
Yeah.
Maybe no wine or no sugary drink or even a Coke Zero, which is not bad, but it is bad for you because it's worse having the aspartame. We must speak about that someday when the time is right. All right, fam. We hope this episode helped you to feel a little less lost in the calorie versus macros world. Please remember, it's not about being perfect, like I said earlier. It's about being consistent and understanding your body a little more each week. That's all you can do, is trying to get more information. You are like a little scientist on your own body and you need to write this research paper. So do as much research as you possibly can. And if you love this episode, share it with a friend, tag us on Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a drop from Giggles and Glutes. And if you want to train with us live, don't forget we're hosting a free online glutes class on the last Saturday of April. Come ready to sweat, laugh, and level up with us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram at Giggles and Glutes and watch the video version of this chat on our YouTube channel if you are an audio listener. We'll be back next week with more confidence talk, fitness, and some cool tips as always. Bye. See you next time.
Bye.